Want to bring in former Homeland Security Secretary under President Obama, Janet Napolitano. Secretary, thank you for being with us. We just heard Defense Secretary Hegseth arguing in support of the deployment of Marines and all these National Guard troops to California, to the Los Angeles area specifically. You've been inside an administration. Is this a situation that rises to the level of needing federalized Guard troops and the Marines?
Well, I'm not only the former Secretary of Homeland Security, but I'm a former governor. I was the governor of Arizona before I became secretary.
That's right.
And I would have to say, no, this does not require use of National Guard, and it particularly doesn't require use of active duty military. And I take the mayor of Los Angeles at her word when she says this is just, causing chaos and exacerbating the situation. Now, you and I could talk about the politics of that and whether that is viewed by the White House as something to their advantage. I suspect they do, but it doesn't add to the safety and security of Angelenos.
Many Democrats have called this an abuse of presidential power. Do you agree?
Oh, I think it is an abuse of presidential power. Now, whether it complies with statute or not, that will be worked out in court. But we elect presidents to exercise not just legal authority, but good judgment. And there is no good judgment demonstrated here. You had a situation in Los Angeles, which has a large immigrant population. We've all known that. ICE does some workplace raids, so they're no longer focusing on people who have committed serious criminals violations, as was promised during the campaign, but just anybody that they can pick up where they know there are undocumented laborers who congregate. So they're picking up a lot of people. That causes a protest activity, which is to be anticipated. The protest grows, but it is by and large peaceful. And then as these things happen, there is a certain percentage who decide to take advantage of that and commit acts of vandalism and violence. That is to be condemned. But it is not out of control of the Los Angeles Police Department or the 88 other law enforcement authorities, local law enforcement authorities, who provide mutual aid to Los Angeles when situations get really serious. To bring in active duty military, to federalize the National Guard over the governor's objection is uncalled for and is big footing a situation that did not call for it and does not call for it.
We've learned there were at least 5 immigration raids in LA County yesterday alone. What's the usual protocol when ICE or DHS agents go in? Do they coordinate with local authorities even if it's a sanctuary city?
Yes, what they should do is alert local law enforcement and local authorities that they are intending to conduct operations in their locale. That's different than coordinating with local law enforcement, but at least local law enforcement knows, because you can anticipate, depending on how the raids go down, that there could be pushback and protests, and so that local law enforcement can be prepared.
Now, these immigration arrests have definitely picked up. ICE says they're now averaging about 2,000 arrests a day, at least for the last week. NBC News is reporting about how these ICE operations aren't just focusing on criminals, and I know you touched on that as well. Listen to what Border Czar Tom Homan said about this yesterday here on MSNBC.
I may prioritize my family life over my work. Doesn't mean I ignore my work. We're going to force the immigration law. We've been honest about that from day one, especially in sanctuary cities where we can't get the bad guy in the safety and security of a jail. They release them to the street. Well, we got to go to the street and find them. And when we find them, many times they're with others. Others that are in the United States illegally, may not be a criminal target, but guess what? If ICE is there, arresting that bad guy and other aliens are there, we're going to arrest them.
Detention centers are already beyond capacity. ICE officials say of those in detention, 56%, or nearly 29,000, have criminal backgrounds. The rest, more than 22,000, do not have criminal histories. What's your perspective on those numbers?
Well, look, there are between 10 and 11 million individuals in our country who are undocumented. a certain percentage have been here for years. They work, they have businesses, they've raised their families here. Many of them are married to U.S. citizens, so you have families that are both. Just going in and sweeping up people, and that seems to be the intent of the current administration, will, as this spreads across the country, people will realize that there no longer is a focus on serious criminals. There is a focus on just anybody who happens to be in the country in an undocumented fashion. You know, I really think this demonstrates the fact that Congress has not acted, despite pleas and efforts over the last decades to fix our immigration system, to make it so that people can immigrate legally. We know who they are, where they are, and so forth. But to make it easier to do so, so that we don't end up in the situation that we're in now. This is a situation that requires Congress in the end to do its job and to fix our immigration laws.
Yeah, the system's clearly broken. Former DHS Secretary Janet Napolitano, thank you so much for being with us.